And suppose that there's a name which we built, and he was dumb.
Perfect. Hey guys, Rich with Rich Rebuilds here, and today I'm going to tell you all what's wrong with my salvage flooded Tesla Model S after 1 year and 15,000 miles of driving. Now, if you don't know the story on the car, here's a quick recap. 4 years ago, my friend said he landed a new job at Tesla Motors, and he wanted me to come by my Z06 to check out the car that's supposed to change the world. I show up in my Corvette that shakes houses as I drive by and shoots fire on demand. And he told me all about his job and the crazy technology around the cars. Then he told me the price, and I moonwalked my ass out of there so fast because that, I'm paying that shit. So I went online, found one at auction that looked exactly like the one he showed me, and it was dirt cheap compared to the $100,000 they wanted for one. It was black, which was good, but it had that awful tan interior that no one wants, and it didn't work because it was underwater, but it was $15,000. So I bought it, started taking things apart, found a dead fish in the back, salt, tons of salt. Everyone told me it was a waste of time for getting a flooded salvage car because I'd be fighting gremlins for years, but I wanted my damn Tesla, so whatever. I went to a Tesla service center to get parts. Some guy named Chris told me to kick rocks because Tesla doesn't sell parts to salvage cars. Then they all laughed me out of the store. Fast forward a bit, I bought another car that was hit in the front. It had the black interior that I wanted. I swapped all the electronics over, the battery, motor, wiring, and I finally got the car running on the road last year. Now, I wasn't sure how reliable the car would be, so I gave it to my wife instead of me driving it, and I also sold her minivan so she wouldn't have any other choice but to drive it.
Should we keep or sell the van?
Sell.
Sell the van?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to sell the van. What should we get next?
Build another Tesla.
Build another Tesla?
Yeah. If it takes you a year, I don't care.
Well, the joke's on me because while I headed to the gym one morning, the car left me stranded at a Toyota dealership, all because I didn't tighten down the cables tight enough on the 12-volt battery, and they shook loose as I was driving. That's the first and the only time the car has left me stuck at the side of the road, and it was all my fault. Well, there was another time when it was my fault when I replaced the high voltage contactors with ones that were faulty, lost most of the coolant in the car during the process. The car overheated at the side of the highway at 1 a.m., so I had to wait hours for the rainwater to collect in my toolbox so I could fill the car back up and drive it home. But besides that, everything was fine. Now, before we get into today's video about my Tesla that I named Dolores after the Westworld character, let's hear a word from today's video sponsor, the Electrified Garage. Oh wait, that's my company. So far through your donations, we've raised over $9,000, and us here at the Electrified Garage can't thank you enough. I'm also putting my life savings up, so this is something that I truly believe in. So as an update for everyone, we found a temporary location that we are servicing Teslas out of. This is for a proof of concept and to test local market interest before we take the deeper dive. The shop hasn't officially opened yet, but the interest so far has been positive, so the goal is to move out of this temporary location in January, and after the crowdfunding campaign, we can start construction. Yes, the most cost-effective way to get more room is to build a structure next to the existing building. Not only that, but more good news, we have 2 ex-Tesla employees that work for the shop. That's right, and one of them is that same motherfucker Chris that told me I couldn't buy parts at Tesla. So far in our current space, we can offer car diagnostics, troubleshooting for Teslas, Model S door handle rebuilds, annual services for all Teslas including Tesla Roadsters, wheels and tires, brakes, and other suspension components, aftermarket accessories including dash cams and trailer hitches, and we also install rim protectors. And I'm the #1 customer because the person that drives the car drives over curbs whenever they feel like it, like rims are free or something. But we pretty much offer everything, and if you aren't sure, just ask. Check out the Indiegogo and the link in the description below. We've added a few discounted service plans as perks, and remember, anything you do helps. You don't have to buy anything, but if you want to throw a few bucks to the campaign, that's cool too. If you have any questions, please email us at info@electrifiedgarage.com. Thank you, Electrified Garage, for sponsoring this video. Now, this is the car that started it all. This black Tesla is the spitting image of the one that I saw at my friend's house almost 5 years ago. It shows that you can actually build your own Tesla from a flood, and this is all proof in the pudding. Just an overview of the car. This is what it looks like after a basic car wash. You'll notice the rear quarter panel and bumper has a pretty significant scuff, and I will not mention who did this scuff. Their name shall remain nameless again. But there's also a scratch on the other side where my son's bike handlebar hit the side of the car when he was getting it out of the garage. Next is the condensation in the taillight. Whenever this happens, which is a very common issue in the Model S. The seals for these taillights are terrible, but how bad can they be, you ask? Yeah, this bad. Now, backing away from the car, you'll also see that the front is significantly lower than the rear of the car by about 1.5 inches. This car is equipped with the auto-leveling air suspension, so this is also a problem. Something is clearly not working, and you can see the gap in the front is clearly smaller than the rear, not to mention the wheel rash by someone who's been driving the car, whose name I will not mention. Now, moving to the front of the car, you'll see the custom red and black headlights I made that no one has. There'll be a video coming out soon on how to make your own. And I also custom painted the fog lights and did the amber side marker delete. The fog still worked the same, and so does the LED piping. I just wanted to get rid of the amber. It looks pretty cool for a nice blacked out look. Later on during the build, I also added a roof rack. Some hate it, some love it. Get over it. Now, getting into the car, we're going to look at what error messages show up on the instrument cluster. The first one is hood latch position unknown. The second issue the car is having is that the MCU screen is losing its fluid, and this is very bad because not only is the liquid toxic, but eventually it's going to leak out of the screen and will stop working. Again, this is a common issue with the Model S MCUs. Now, pressing on the hood latch release button, I hear a clicking sound of it trying to release the hood latch, but nothing actually happens. The other issue with the car is the clicking upon acceleration and deceleration when the car's regenerative braking is active. Listen for the click. Let's pause this shot. Looks pretty sick, right? So yeah, the sound is obviously coming from the rear axles, so those will likely have to be paid attention to, and it's a very common issue with performance rear-wheel drive cars. Now, getting back into the car and starting it up, here are the error messages displayed on the dashboard. One is the tire pressure low coming on, which is an easy fix. Only problem that the car doesn't tell you which wheel is giving the issue, so I'll have to go around the car testing the pressures. Next thing I'm going to do is turn on my headlights, but looking at this, you'll see the secondary beam is not showing, so further shenanigans are in place. Looking at the instrument cluster, you'll see that only the passenger light is working, so there's definitely an issue here. And oh yeah, let's hear the clicking sound again. Maybe it magically disappeared. Nope, still there. Now there's also a noise coming from the front end of the car. Let's listen to that too. You could kind of hear it faintly. Now the front of the car is also making a clunking noise as well. Let's move these bags. And you could actually hear a clunk. Oh, what the hell's in these bags? Listen carefully. Hear the clunk? You could kind of hear it faintly, so we're going to check that out as well. Let's look under the hood and see if there's anything obvious going on. And we press the button, and the latch isn't even actuating anymore. So things are actually getting worse and worse. If we look up at the headliner, there's some scuff marks. I'll be addressing that too. Remember, this headliner is painted and not the Alcantara. This headliner was originally the cream color, and I got rid of it because I wanted a black interior. So we're going to see how to resolve that as well. But for the most part, the issues are all minor. The car runs and drives just fine. There's no real squeaks or rattles. The bizarre non-working headlight issue actually happened today. I want to take it for a quick test drive, but that may prove to be an issue considering the front shocks aren't filling with air. But let's see what the car says if I try to raise the car through the interface. I'm going to go from standard to high. Okay, well that didn't work. The car didn't raise, and now it's throwing a fault with the air suspension, so the front end of the car is now dragging on the ground, and now the headlight is flickering. Looking at the interior, the piano black interior panels are all scratched up. It looks like they may have used 600 grit sandpaper to clean the trim. Again, someone's name who I will not mention takes the car to the gas station detailer to get the car cleaned. But other than those very small maintenance issues, no big issues have occurred. I'd argue I put this car back together better than factory, and everything that has gone wrong so far in the last 15,000 miles wasn't anything that I did, but all of these things are common issues in older Teslas in general. From the condensation in the taillights, having to change the damn 12-volt battery every year, the charge port lighting whatever color it feels like, or sometimes the car won't even let you in. And when it rains hard, you get a free swimming pool. Thanks, Tesla. Either way, you're going to see a repair series with me fixing all the issues with Dolores, and hopefully this helps you with your cars as well. And you'll also see the new project that I have coming up, Project Clementine. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at RichieBKid. Check out the Indiegogo link in the description below, and I will see you guys soon.